I realized the more guys you put into it, I realized the more effort you're going to gain in life. You have to understand that the more you're giving in life, I realize the more you're going to live. So no matter what, that when you see people living so much of a long life, I realize it's not because of the food they ate. I realize it's not because of anything that they had around them. You understand it's really that they increased their eye capacity. I realize they believed in themselves so much that they can live up to that point. You have to understand it's really that. I realize that if you believe in yourself more, you can live 1,000 years. You can live more than that. You have to understand that you just believe in yourself. You can live and achieve anything when you believe in yourself. You understand? I realize it's not because of the fish. I realize it's not because of veganism. You have to understand it's really that you understand that it's because they believed in themselves so greatly that they lived up to that age. You understand? So you can do anything. You can understand that you can go and live thousands of years right now. You just have to understand to get the experience. So increase your experience right now. And that's all that you ever need in life. You have to understand, you go and teach your experience. You have to teach your experience. And that's called self-evaluation. So you have to understand that self-evaluation is self-awareness. And that's what John C. Maxwell says. So no matter what, that every single time I go into my journal, I self-evaluate about my day. And I make sure that for the past hour, how did my day go and what did I do and how can I better myself in this moment every single day? Because I only work in the moment. I only work in this moment because this moment is reality and this is where dreams are made of. You have to understand that when you have an imagination, you have a goal, you have a desire, because imagination is desire. You have to understand, although, that in order to get your desire, you have to be in the moment and you have to do something for that. You have to understand, you have to create it. You have to create it. You have to take some steps along the way. You have to understand that you have to go and invest in yourself more and more to be able to achieve it. So no matter what, that if your dream is a beautiful woman or a beautiful man or whatever it is, you have to understand that no matter what, that you can achieve it if you believe in yourself. You have to understand that anything is possible, although you have to plan it first. You have to plan how can you get it. You can get it today if you set your mind to it. No matter what, I always kiss myself when I hurt myself. I realize that if I hit myself with a portable charger or something accidentally, I kiss myself just to confirm that I love myself. Because sometimes when you hit yourself like this and you don't kiss yourself again to say that you didn't mean it, you have to understand that then you're going to trick yourself that you really hate yourself. Although make sure that no matter what, that if you accidentally hit yourself, you just say, I love I, and that's that. You just say, I love I, and it's like a kiss. Just a self-loving technique to understand that I love myself. So no matter what, I have a nice, beautiful way to go into the mirror, and I always say a positive affirmations. I love you. I say I love you in the mirror every single day. I realize that every single time I see the mirror, I talk to myself in the mirror. I realize I talk to myself about life. And I say, you must do this because guess what? I realize that otherwise you're going to be in a 9-to-5 job. You understand me? You have to understand that you cannot go with them. I realize that I talk to myself like that in the mirror. And no matter what, I just hype myself in the mirror. And that way I say, I love you, all right? I love you. You have to understand, you have to do better. You have to go do your life coaching videos now. Or else, no matter what, I talk to myself that way in the mirror. And I love myself so much. So no matter what, that each and every single day, I talk to myself with my journal. And I make sure that every single day, I'm always loving myself. I make sure I never hurt myself ever again. Because I've done that before. I've drank alcohol. I've done cigarettes for 7 years. I've done the ice. I've done the weed for 3 years. I've smoked tobacco. I've smoked ice too. You have to understand, it's really, I've never smoked ice, although I drank it. And you have to understand, I was on the speed, and I was on the cocaine, and I was on the drugs and the ecstasy and all of that. So you have to understand that the next step was heroin. You have to understand that no matter what, that I got away from it as quickly as possible because I've experienced it, and it's not the lifestyle, because I started to lose myself in that process. I started to lose the person I was. And then I fell into a schizophrenic fashion, and then I gained all this weight, and I started to look ugly from the drugs. Although you have to understand, it's really because of the ego. You have to understand the ego made me do all these drugs, and it's because I grew up around a crowd who never taught me better. You have to understand that it's really, I was supposed to teach myself, and no matter what, I was never supposed to do anything. Although you have to understand, it's really, I picked up the wrong crowd in a way that there is no wrong or right, although I went with a crowd that is far below average, and I became that. And you have to understand that you are who you surround yourself with. So realize that no matter what, that in life, you go to surround yourself with better people who are going to be more productive and who are teaching you right now. You have to understand that there's a story going around about the Indians and Americans. And when the Americans went to India in terms of the country of America, and it's not Indians, although the Indian Americans. And what happened was, I realized that Indian Americans they were always having sex with their woman, and the woman will do all the work. I realized that Americans came into America and they started to build everything. I realized that they were not having sex with women. I realized they were not having sex with women because they started to develop the country. You understand? So I realized that the nice, beautiful gesture here is that sex is unproductive. I realized the more sex you're having without having a kid, you have to understand the more unproductive you are. I realized you're going to look like that Indian American who's sitting in a tent all day to do nothing while the wife is going to do all the work. You understand? I mean, that's unproductive. You understand? You have to go be the Americans who go into the country and start to build infrastructures and everything around America and start to build all that, because that's more productive. Because look at what you have today in terms of what you have around you. Because if it was American Indian, you understand that there will be still tents around. You understand? Because that is what I mean. You understand? Although I'm not a racist, you understand? It's really that kind of vibe that I got from that story. You have to understand that it's really information based. Although you have to understand that you have to be very productive, and whatever you are today, you can be a carpenter, you can be whatever you need to be, although be the best version of that. I mean, be the best version. I mean, there's nobody else that can overtake you. And the best way to do that is your face. I mean, you have to understand that when you're selling something for money, I realize that somebody can create a better product than you and sell it for less. I realize that if you're not on top of it, you understand that you always lose. So no matter what, just make sure that nobody can overtake you and nobody can screw you over. So the best way you can understand my story here is you can never screw me over, because I have over 1,000 videos, over 1,000 hours that I've done, and you can never overtake me. I've given it for free. And how are you going to overtake me? I mean, you may sell it for money, although they're going to come for me because I do it for free. You get it? I do it for free. I mean, what makes you any better? I mean, I give them 1,000 hours of videos for free about life coaching, and you have created 1 hour and you're selling $50. I mean, you're selling the video for $50. I mean, what kind of a joke are you? You have to understand, although, that I am something for nothing. So no matter what, that nobody else can compete with Danny Milivojevic, because there's only one Danny Milivojevic. So what I'm saying here is go create your first name. And what is your first name and full name in life? And just go and create that kind of intuition in your life, an individual who is much better in your version, and go and create 1,000 hours of videos like I have, and nobody can compete with you either. And that way you have a stance to be out of the 9-to-5 job and to be a millionaire and multimillionaire, because guess what? Nobody else can compete with you and nobody else can take you down, because you are something very strong, because you've built bricks of houses. I mean, you've built all these thousands of hours of videos and nobody can overtake you. Understand? Because you're educating somebody, you're educating people, and nobody can outsmart you either. Because no matter what, you're giving it for free, and when they don't like you because you've given 1,000,000 hours of content for free to help them, I realize that you're just smarter than them. You don't need their followers, you don't need them to follow you anymore, because you have given them already. So what you do in life is you just go and help yourself. You just go help yourself, because you don't wait for them to follow you, you don't wait for them to talk about you. You just go and give them content and you just relax. You understand? Because that's the whole point of life. Rush, the whole point of life is go and give more content, and that way you're going to be recognized. I mean, 1,000 hours on, I realize 1,000 hours of life on your calendar, you have to understand, is a lot of time. So make sure that you put it into video. You understand? I realize that it's much better to put your life into video for 1,000 hours of video content where you're teaching somebody than to watch the horses, like my biological father. You understand? I mean, it's much better to do that than to watch Simpsons or the cartoons or cinemas. You get it? I mean, it's much better to go and put 1,000 hours of video content that's teaching somebody than to be with a woman and just speak with her. I mean, how boring. I mean, how boring to speak to a woman. You understand? I'm not gay. I'm not bisexual. I mean, how boring to speak up. I mean, how boring to speak to other people. I don't even need them in my life. I don't need them in my life. You have to understand that I have I in my life. I have I. I've got something to do in life. I don't have to be around immature women. I don't have to be around people except I. So no matter what, the other people, I realize other people are boring in my life. I realize everybody else is boring because I've got something to do. I'm only self-interested. I'm only self-righteous. I'm only self-righteous in a way that I help you. I help you so much that I give you so much content, although I'm not egotistical. I don't need other people. I don't need a woman around me. I don't need her at all. You understand? Because what I understand is that she's never going to grow me. I promise you, a woman will never grow me in any type of manner. I promise you that no matter what, that only I can grow I. I promise you that's the ultimate way. And anything else is a facade. I promise you, if you say that a woman can grow you or a man can grow you, I promise you, you are the biggest facade in the universe. Because that's a hypocrite. I promise you, the hypocrites say that other people grow them. I promise you, no, you grow yourself only. I promise you, nobody else can grow you. I promise you that only you can live your shoes and nobody else can grow your tree in life except you. So no matter what, realize that no other person is going to satisfy you. And that's what I mean. I don't need anybody else in life other than I and Jesus. You have to understand, I and Jesus is everything. You understand? I put myself in I with Jesus. You understand? So no matter what, each and every single day, just make sure that you are your best version every single day, because that's what you have to understand to invest in yourself. You have to be an investor. So do you understand? Yeah, do you understand that no matter what happens, you're going to have to live your life better than yesterday? You're going to have to do something better than yesterday. You're going to have to grow. You're going to have to do something far greater than ever before, because you're going to have to innovate. You're going to have to do something in business. You're going to have to give people some courage. You're going to have to give people some information on how to help them. So no matter what you're doing, you just keep going and keep going and keep going and never be frustrated. Just keep pushing yourself to give some content, and no matter what, you're going to get better. You're going to get more confident because you've done all these hours of videos, and you're going to be much more experienced when you're given 20 hours of videos than when you haven't even started. You're going to be much more confident when you hit the 1,000 hours of videos you've done, and then your next milestone is 10,000 hours of videos you've done, and you're going to realize that you're just a much better person for it. You understand? And that's what Jim Rohn remarks as, it's what it makes of you. You have to understand that no matter what, that even Dr. Wayne Dyer says that no matter what, that all you're selling is your attitude. You have to understand, it's really your attitude that 10,000 hours worth of giving information is going to help boost your mentality and spirituality and confidence and vibrancy into entrepreneurship, because that's what that is. Actually, it's called entrepreneurship. I realize that my Instagram says I, entrepreneur. I realize that my first word that you see in my Instagram is I. You understand? I, entrepreneur, because I is everything. So no matter what, be that kind of individual who understands that your life is worth it when you are. You understand? You make yourself worth it every single day. You go and be yourself authentic. You be yourself in an authentic way every single day, so you understand that it's your I that makes you authentic. Your I is everything. You go and do everything in your power every single day. You just make sure that every single day you're going to give some content. You're going to give somebody something to recognize, and that way you will be successful.